Citizens of Azeroth, welcome to the Average Dwarf Show, Key of the Week, episode number 2. We're going to take a look at a Pit of Saron 12. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Druid. We got Resilient Keystone 16s unlocked, but I'm starting to have some bad experiences trying to heal 17s in pug groups. I was all set up yesterday. I was going to make a whole video about how WoW is better now than it's ever been, but a couple of toxic experiences, I just took the night off. Alright, we're rolling in this Pit of Saron 12. This is a friend group. We're on Discord. We're just having shenanigans. We didn't quite have the right lineup to do anything too high. We could get a little higher than a 12, but we decided to limit test this setup we got going. Most of us are on alts and see how high we could get a key. I had this one laying around, so we decided to kick it off with this. I've said some things about Paladins lately. Those of you that like watching me stream over there on Twitch, and those of you that watch the YouTube channel may know, I believe I referred to Holy Paladin as infinite mana, face roll, instant cast, slop. It was something along those lines. And you know what? That statement stands. Even though Balford might have the best Mog in all of Azeroth, you can see this handsome dwarf running around keeping everybody alive. Now, my Druid's item level was much lower when I broke into 12s. My Paladin has best in slot weapon. That's kind of ridiculous. That's awesome, by the way. I don't even play this character. I barely know what my buttons do, and I have a best in slot main hand weapon. So that helps. You know, that gives me a little boost in here on this Holy Paladin. Great pull on the tank's part there. You don't have to get the gargoyle with the dangerous caster pack at the bottom of the hill in Pit of Saron. You could see some dwarf riding a ram went ahead and body pulled a couple of extra mobs on the way in, but no big deal, we recovered. Alright, we've got a couple of healer error deaths coming up here that I'm going to go ahead and take full responsibility for. I already told you, I don't know what my buttons do. I'm playing this Paladin. This key actually made me want to get good at Paladin because I had so much fun playing this horrible god-awful class that should be deleted from the game. But I maybe encouraged the tank to pull a little bit more than the tank wanted to pull here, and I did not hit my buttons very good, led to a couple of deaths. Come back my way, you can get more as the die if you want. I should have kept my mouth shut. Good thing I'm playing with some solid players here so it doesn't wind up being a wipe. One other thing about Pit of Saron, if you're playing a Trank class, so Druid, Hunter, Monk, you can spec into Paralysis to be a Trank. I don't know if Monks take that talent or not, I just know it's a thing. But these Lumbering Plague Bringers can be Tranked, which will make the tank take less damage. So I tell the tank, get more, we got more, and they got me. And then for some reason, I'm not sure why, I don't know if it's Beacon of the Savior or because I still have my beacon targets are alive, I'm trapped in combat when I come back, so I can't even mount up. Thank goodness we do not end up wiping here. We would have timed, I think, anyway if we wiped. I've got a couple of big pumper friends in this group. Alright, we make it back here, avoid the wipe, no harm, no foul. We're all buddies in this group, just having some fun on a Saturday night. But when you're out there pugging 12s and you're not with your buddies that are running shenanigan keys, don't pull for the tank, please, and thank you. I've been pugging a lot of 12s this week. And when it comes to my weekly 12s that I'm just doing for vaults, I'll invite just about anybody. I believe in doing community service on Azeroth. Alright, there's a lot of players that really struggle to get invited to 12s from what I see on the forums, from what I read about the game. And so I'll invite you if you time to 10, I'll invite you if you time to 9, I'll invite you basically no matter what. 12s are very doable, the timers are very beatable. I personally think they're usually easier than 10s just because you don't have the additional element of the affix. But I'm seeing a lot of players in these 12s that are in the 12 for the first time, or at least have the potential to successfully time it for the first time, that are doing things like pulling mobs for the tank, or criticizing the tank's route, or attacking other players in the group. Don't do that. Just say thanks for the run. All you really need to say in looking for group is hey, and that's optional. You don't even need to say hello. You can just zone in, do the key, zone out. But if you need to say something, if you're just that type of person where you have to talk, hey, thanks for group. That's all you gotta say. Okay, if you're the stupid fire mage that was in my Magister's Terrace 12 trying to brick the key because you felt the need to attack the tank and tell the tank what to pull when you've never even timed the key higher than a 10, you hurt my feelings. And you're the problem. Okay, this is why nobody wants to play with fire mages, because, oh, you gotta pull more for our combust window. And before you say, you never know what their alt could be, they could time that key on a 17. Shut up. If they were doing keys that high, they'd have Raider IO and their alt claim most likely. Sorry, I'm having flashbacks to my Blood Decay's stream where I had to put a fire mage on ignore. Time the key easily, by the way. Two-chested the key with the mage telling me how terrible I was the whole time. The mage might be right, but you know what? I'm not going to invite you anymore. Now you're on my ignore list. So what did you accomplish making enemies in the highest key that you've ever timed ever on that character? And sure, yeah, you might be somebody, but in that key, you wasn't shit. All right, let it go, bro. Let it go, let it go. All right, so we're going to move right along this Pit of Saron 12. We're coming up to Garfrost here shortly. Just another thing I'll mention for anybody out there that still doesn't know. These gargoyles that I believe we're going to get in this poll, yeah, we'll pick up a gargoyle here. If you play Druid, you can shapeshift. If you play Hunter, you can disengage, which makes me realize I'm playing Paladin. I don't think I cast a single freedom when the gargoyle picks somebody up this whole dungeon. But that's okay. That's what I enjoy about these shenanigan 12 keys. Not only do I get random best in slot main hand weapons, but it makes me realize that if you dig into a class, man, there is a lot to getting good at this game. So next time I run a Pit of Saron, I will hand a freedom up and we'll see if it works. I assume it will. I assume all root breaks will. But I'm just now at the point where I'm starting to thoroughly research dungeons because I have hit the point of no more growth really on my Blood Decay. My Blood Decay's item level is high enough that I do more damage than most DPS do that are running 12s, and so I need to start researching these dungeons, maybe do a little bit higher just to keep the keys entertaining. Coming up on Garfrost here, we use a pretty good strategy for Garfrost. I've only done it this way a time or two, usually in higher keys, but since this group knows how to do it, we go ahead and just place one rock on either side of him. The other thing I will say, watch the frontal on those dragons, watch the kicks on these casters. Pit of Saron is one of those keys where at the 12 level, it's not very difficult. Healers can usually heal through a nether burst going off. Healers can usually heal through, lots and lots of things. But when you start getting higher, nether burst goes out, you got a good chance that key is bricked. But not this key. I think I saw at least 2, if not 3 types of CC go out on that nether burst. All right, we'll come up to Garfrost here. I believe we clear it pretty easily. I don't know if we had any deaths. I don't think we had any deaths. I can't remember. But this boss is not incredibly difficult in terms of the mechanics that need to be executed. But when you get a little higher on Pit of Saron, on this boss in particular, help your healers, folks. There is just a lot of rot damage, of just ticking damage that goes out on this fight that kind of crept up on me as I did this key at higher and higher levels. I kind of thought this was a nothing burger fight, and it basically is on a 12. But if you're looking to go higher, be ready to use personal cooldowns, be ready to pot, be ready to invite a warlock for boogies. Anything like that will help your healers out. And while I'm on the help the healers out topic, I have a theory that I'd like to bounce off you here. So I do a lot of keys. I do about 50 keys a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. It all depends on how much free time I have and how much fun I'm having. But it's been my experience thus far that around the Keystone level 12 bracket, at that bracket where people are just running weeklies for keys, sometimes there can be a bit of a tank shortage. But as I have climbed higher and higher in keys, I find that there's actually a healer shortage. I have very little trouble finding high keys with tanks that need a healer. But if I'm running a lower-ish key, 12, 13, I have a hard time finding tanks. So does the healer and tank role demand flip at some point? Am I the only person having this experience? Am I only having that experience because I have a 3400 druid? I don't know the answer to that question. Leave a comment below. Let me know what your experience has been like if you're out there tanking and healing or damaging M+ at above 15. Let me know. Gotta say, Dwarf Holy Paladin with wings just looks so cool. I mean, that's just a righteous holy crusader keeping the party alive. I love it. Do I love it enough that it excuses my underlying seething hatred for paladins? No. But it's pretty cool in the moment. Paladin does have some of the best transmog, some of the best spell animations in the game, in particular that one for Holy Light where they pull the book out. That one is great. While I'm rambling about paladins and how cool they look, you can see my buddy over there popping wings. We'll forgive that he's a blood elf. He just doesn't know any better. Can somebody fill me in on the story that's happening in Midnight at the moment? I don't really care about the story. All I want to do is M+. M+ is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the bee's knees, as the kids would say. But can somebody fill me in on this story of Midnight? I've heard things that the light isn't good anymore. The light is neutral now, that it's not holy magic, it's light magic. I don't know. What are they doing over there at Blizzard? I don't know. To be honest, I don't care. If the gameplay stays good, chances are I'm going to play it, and chances are the gameplay is going to stay good, because I think Mythic Plus has been pretty great for at least 7 patches. Even though I took 2 or 3 of those patches off just for real life reasons, man, there's just nothing quite like Pug Healing M+. It is so much fun. Especially at the point of the season that we are at now, where I've accomplished all of my seasonal goals. I have 3400 IO and Resilient 16s on a capable healer, so if I have any friends that are still trying to get to 3400, I could help them out with that. It's just the pressure's off. I'm done. I beat the game. So I'll be playing stupid Holy Paladin, I'll be playing Blood Death Knight, I'll be playing Survival Hunter. I'm trying to also think of just kind of like a new stretch goal, if you will, for myself as a WoW player. I'm kicking around trying to get 3400 on a tank and a DPS, because that would really put me in prime position towards the end of the season to help folks out get their 3400. Or I'm thinking about going for 3400 on an additional healer, which would most likely be Mistweaver Monk. I've probably got another month, maybe 6 weeks left and no life in where something like that is even an option. So if you enjoy watching me on Twitch, if you enjoy the YouTube videos, leave a comment in either one of those places. Let me know something you would like to see me stream over the next month or 6 weeks. The gameplay footage we just watched there is just a perfect example of why healing Mythic Plus is so much fun for me. At a 16, what just happened is a wipe. There is no recovering from that spellcast going off. But at 12, yeah, we're recovering from that spellcast going out, and your boy's gonna pump some numbers and neglect my own health, have to bubble, and still keep the group up. All right, enough tooting my own horn. I'm the most handsome dwarf in all Azeroth. Everybody knows that. I don't need to heal so good on top of it, but hey, what can I do? What can I say? All right, coming into Ick and Crick here, pulling the trash into them. We got 16 minutes left on the clock, 2 bosses to go. We are in good shape. Something I'll say about Pit of Saron and Windrunner Spire, there might be other dungeons I'm forgetting. If you're a DPS player that can take Decurse, it is very beneficial to have it for those dungeons. You can see we're getting through a 12, no problem, no Decurse in this group. It's not necessary at a key this level. But in Windrunner Spire and in Pit of Saron, both of those dungeons have bosses that shoot out 2 curses at a time. So even if you have a druid and I think shaman, correct me if I'm wrong, shaman healer that can decurse, it works better just to pop both at the same time. So you can have a DPS get one, you get one. I know mages can do it. I believe DPS druid and I believe DPS shaman can do it. Correct me in the comments if I'm overlooking or mistaken about the classes. Maybe I'll play a mage a little bit this week, or a shaman a little bit this week. Those are both classes that I enjoy. I especially like it when Frost Mage is good. For some reason, Dwarf Arcane Mage just doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't click. I feel like that's nerd magic. That's for humans and gnomes. But right now, Frost Mage is performing really well. I might play a little bit of Frost Mage. I might play a little bit of Resto or Enhancement Shaman. I don't know. The ability Prune bugs me even more on Shaman than it did on Paladin. If you wanted, and Blizz wanted, and they did simplify the rotations, good. I think that's a good thing. But the way that Shaman, and in particular Enhancement Shaman, lost utility just kind of took a lot of the fun of that spec away from me. I mained Enhancement Shaman during one of the seasons in Dragonflight, and that was one of the most fun M plus seasons I ever had. You had Cat Totem, Knockup, Stone Bulwark Totem. I mean, it was great. It was tremendous. But since the ability prune, I haven't really played Shaman much, and I don't see myself getting into him without those abilities. But who knows? Maybe I'll give it a shot and I'll love it. I would like to see healer kicks come back. I would like to see some utility come back, but I think that I'm speaking as a primarily Pug M plus player. One of the reasons I always loved Enhancement Shaman, and one of the reasons I always have played Hunter, is because you can turn the tide for group members that don't use utility when you have access utility and you Pug a lot of M plus. I don't really know that I'll continue to have that ability if I try Shaman out, but who knows? I'll give it a go and we'll see what's what over the next week here. We're approaching the end of this Pit of Saron 12 here. Thanks for making it this far. Thanks for sticking with me. I plan to do a Key of the Week going forward, but you know me, I've said that before, and then I didn't make any YouTube videos for over a month because I got stressed out. But I should be pretty stress-free, pretty carefree for the next month or so, so I'll plan on making a Key of the Week every week for at least that amount of time. It won't always be Holy Paladin. I just happened to think of this key as I sat down to do this morning. I'm playing a lot of classes. That's something I think that World of Warcraft does very, very well, is class fantasy. You've all heard me talk about how much I nerd out on my Dwarf Sentinel Survival Hunter and play a lower DPS spec just because I love it so much. I kind of have a similar thing where I really love being a jewel crafter on a shaman. I love playing inscription on a warlock. You know, that's the thing that's so great about World of Warcraft, is there are layers to the engagement that I have with the game that I enjoy. Not only do I roll around with a gaggle of different dwarves, all looking cool, all with top-notch mogs, but I also can craft you some very, very powerful equipment on most of those dwarves. And so that really keeps me coming back week after week, even if I don't really feel like doing M+. After I have, a bad experience trying to heal a 17 on a Resto Druid, or I have a Fire Mage torment me when I'm just trying to tank a Magister's Terrace 12, even when I don't feel like doing M+, there's always something I feel like I can do in the game right now that makes me more powerful. Even if it's just professions or prey hunts or delves, there's always something I want to do in Azeroth. Let me know below. Leave a comment. What are your favorite activities outside of M+ that you do in World of Warcraft? And not raiding, all right? You know what I mean. You know what kind of question I'm trying to ask. I don't want to hear about raiding. Now, I do have a little mini rant about raiding, all right? I think that raiding is not fun. I don't love raiding. And it's not the act of raiding itself. It's fun to kill bosses. Killing bosses in any capacity is always fun. What's not fun about raiding is finding a consistent guild to play with. I think that I'm too sweaty for casual guilds, and I'm too obsessed with playing too many alts and don't play well enough for hardcore guilds. And so that leaves me in this no man's land where I'd rather just do M+, but by not doing raid, I get my player power, in particular in the trinket department. And I think this drum has probably been beat to death. I've just never talked about it. But I think that that's something I'd really like to see Blizzard maybe change their philosophy or improve their philosophy on. We live in 2026. I don't want to commit 6 hours plus to playing the game at the same time every week with the same people. I really need and want and hope for something plug and play where I can still get powerful gear. I'm not trying to say that I should have best in slot every slot, but having it just be trinkets every season that you gimp yourself on if you don't raid is getting pretty old, and it's just a long-standing frustration that I have with the game. But that's probably one of those hills that Blizz is willing to die on, and not that they're going to die, but that's one of those things I don't think they're going to budge. I think that the M+ player population that doesn't want to raid has been saying for a long time that we're tired of feeling like we have to raid in order to get good trinkets. I will say this season there are some decent M+ trinkets, but did they have to bring Puzzle Box back? All right, I was gonna save this for my survival hunter video where I'm trying to find 2 seconds to stand still in melee to cast puzzle box, combine it with my pot and with takedown, and it's so clunky. Just give us on use instant cast trinkets. I hated puzzle box the first time around. I believe I used it on an enhancement shaman then. Emberwing Feather is also good, so I'm glad that there are a few classes that I play that need one M plus trinket and one raid trinket. While I'm ranting about trinkets, if you're gonna have a one boss raid that drops one of the best trinkets in the game, make it so that I can get a vault out of one boss so that I don't have to go join a raid and then leave the raid after only killing one boss just to unlock a vault slot. I blame you for my bad behavior, Blizzard, because that's exactly what I did this morning on my Warlock before I made this video. I killed Dream Rift last night so I could use a bonus roll on Gaze. Didn't get Gaze again. I can't remember how many weeks we've been doing this now, but I have yet to get Gaze on the bonus roll. Maybe I'll make another video about how much the Void Core system isn't great if you get unlucky, the way that my Warlock and Hunter have gotten unlucky. Whatever. Maybe I don't like this game as much as I thought I did. Maybe I actually hate this game. Maybe this game sucks and M plus players are treated like second class citizens and I've had enough of it. But that's not true. I love the game. I love M plus. The trinket thing is just kind of a consistent bummer. Season after season, I feel like I have to do content that I don't want to do in order to do the content that I want to do. But this is a long-standing thing that Blizzard has known about. They're just not going to change. All right, here we are wrapping up this Pit of Saron 12. I think we two-chest this. We'll find out in a minute here. Thanks so much for checking out. Thanks so much for sticking with me. As always, check me out over there on Twitch. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Peace.